calling 911. Where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police and the ambulance immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Arlington?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Arlington?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay?
Welcome to Crime Canvas. Let's delve deeper into the case of Alex Murdaugh, the shocking murders of his wife Maggie and their youngest son Paul, and the complex web of lies, theft, and drug addiction that surrounded this prominent South Carolina family. This extended narrative will explore the events leading up to the murders, the subsequent investigations, the trial, and the broader implications for the Murdaugh family and the Low Country region. On June 7, 2021, the tranquil countryside of South Carolina's Low Country was shattered when a 911 call came in from a prominent attorney, Alex Murdaugh. He reported the horrifying discovery of 2 lifeless bodies near the dog kennels on his family's hunting estate. The victims were identified as his wife, Maggie Murdaugh, and their youngest son, Paul Murdaugh. Both had been fatally shot, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. However, this gruesome crime was just the tip of the iceberg, unraveling a complex tapestry of deceit, theft, and addiction within the Murdaugh family. As investigators delved deeper, they unearthed a series of dark secrets that would rock the foundations of a family long regarded as influential and powerful in the South Carolina Low Country. To understand the gravity of the case, it is essential to comprehend the significance of the Murdaugh family's legacy in the Low Country region. The Murdaughs had been a dominant legal force in 5 counties, comprising the 14th Judicial Circuit of South Carolina, for several generations. Their influence began in 1920, when Alex's great-great-grandfather, Randolph Murdaugh Sr., assumed the role of solicitor, akin to a district attorney. Randolph Sr. effectively controlled the region, exercising authority in the form of arresting, investigating, and prosecuting individuals. This legacy of power and privilege continued through the generations, with Randolph Jr., known as Buster, taking over as the solicitor for over 4 decades. Following in his footsteps, Alex's father, Randolph Murdaugh III, carried on the family tradition. Although primarily a private attorney, Alex also held a volunteer solicitor role, further cementing the Murdaugh family's control over a significant portion of South Carolina. The family's influence extended to all aspects of life in the region, raising concerns about their impact on the investigation and trial of Alex Murdaugh. A portrait of Buster Murdaugh hanging in the courthouse raised fears of potential bias among jurors, prompting the judge to remove it during the trial. Central to the saga is the enigmatic character of Alex Murdaugh himself. During his trial, even those closest to him, including lifelong friends and colleagues of 20 to 30 years, confessed to not truly knowing the real Alex Murdaugh. He presented himself as a charismatic, affable individual, skilled in navigating social interactions, and adept at achieving his objectives. However, beneath this facade lay a darker side that baffled both investigators and those who thought they knew him well. It was revealed that Alex had embezzled millions of dollars from his clients over the years, a betrayal that required him to look these clients in the eye, assure them of his loyalty, and then systematically drain their finances. This dual personality, capable of charming while committing financial crimes, left many bewildered. Some have even suggested that the term psychopath may be apt when describing Alex Murdaugh. His actions and contradictions throughout the case painted a complex picture of a man who defied easy categorization. His true motivations and the depths of his deception remained shrouded in mystery. The question that haunted investigators and the public alike was, why would Alex Murdaugh, a man from a privileged background with a seemingly bright future, resort to murder? The answer lay in a web of interconnected events and escalating problems that converged into what prosecutors termed the perfect storm. One of the key triggers was the tragic boating accident involving Paul Murdaugh in February 2019. Paul, under the influence of alcohol, crashed a boat while returning from a party, resulting in the death of his friend, Mallory Beach. Subsequent tests revealed that Paul's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. This accident initiated a series of events that exposed the family's vulnerabilities. The death of Mallory Beach led to a civil hearing, where her family's attorneys sought to compel Alex Murdaugh to disclose his financial assets. This revelation threatened to expose his extensive embezzlement, which he had hidden for years. The prospect of financial ruin and public disgrace loomed large, serving as a catalyst for desperate actions. In this context, prosecutors argued that Alex Murdaugh resorted to murder as a means to protect the family's reputation and preserve his ill-gotten wealth. The upcoming civil hearing represented an existential threat, and eliminating his wife Maggie and son Paul, who could potentially testify against him, seemed like the only way out. To bring Alex Murdaugh to justice, investigators utilized a wealth of digital evidence. On the fateful evening of the murders, Alex had been driving Maggie's car, providing crucial GPS data. This data, along with information gleaned from the phones of Alex, Paul, and Maggie, was instrumental in reconstructing the events leading up to and following the murders. Prosecutors meticulously constructed a compelling visual timeline that detailed Alex's movements on the day of the murders. This timeline proved damning, revealing his presence at the kennels just 5 minutes before the killings occurred. It was a crucial piece of evidence that investigators had kept well hidden until the trial. The revelation of this digital evidence played a pivotal role in convincing the jury of Alex Murdaugh's guilt. It debunked his claims of not having seen his wife and son for hours before the murders, solidifying the case against him. During his trial, Alex Murdaugh claimed to have become addicted to opioids approximately 2 decades prior, following a knee injury. He asserted that his opioid addiction had spiraled out of control, leading him to spend an astounding $60,000 per week on these drugs. He argued that this addiction was the driving force behind his embezzlement of funds from his clients and his law firm. However, there were doubts surrounding the severity of his addiction. Despite his claims, individuals who knew him well, including those present in the courtroom during the trial, never observed any signs of him being under the influence of opioids. Speculation arose regarding whether his opioid addiction was a genuine issue or a convenient excuse to explain his criminal behavior. The boating accident involving Paul Murdaugh, where Mallory Beach tragically lost her life, was another turning point in the family's downfall. Paul's reckless actions, heavily influenced by alcohol, and the resulting fatality initiated a cascade of events that ultimately exposed the family's dark secrets. Prosecutors argued that Alex Murdaugh resorted to murder to protect his reputation and financial interests. The impending civil hearing related to Mallory Beach's death posed a significant threat, as it could potentially unveil his extensive embezzlement, leading to financial ruin and public disgrace. The Murdaugh family's involvement in various other mysterious deaths and legal complications added layers of complexity to an already convoluted narrative. One such case was the death of Gloria Satter Maggie's car, providing critical information about his movements on the fateful night. GPS data revealed his whereabouts and movements in the hours leading up to the murders, as well as his actions afterward. Prosecutors compiled this data into a compelling visual diagram, which became a damning piece of evidence during the trial. In addition to GPS data, investigators also extracted valuable information from the cell phones of Alex, Paul, and Maggie Murdaugh. These devices contained text messages, call records, and other digital footprints that shed light on their activities and communications in the days leading up to the murders. This digital evidence helped establish a timeline and context for the events surrounding the crime. However, the most significant digital revelation came about a 1.5 years after the murders, when law enforcement managed to unlock Paul Murdaugh's phone. Among the contents of the unlocked device was a Snapchat video recorded by Paul just 5 minutes before the murders.
Get back! Get back! Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit! It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
This video featured Paul, Maggie, and Alex at the scene of the kennels where the murders occurred. This critical piece of evidence directly contradicted Alex Murdaugh's earlier claims that he had not seen his wife and son for hours before their deaths. The Snapchat video became the proverbial smoking gun, catching Alex Murdaugh at the scene of the crime shortly before the murders took place. This evidence was kept tightly under wraps until the trial, strategically revealed by the prosecution to maximize its impact. The prosecution argued that the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were not the result of a random act of violence, but rather a calculated and desperate attempt by Alex to protect the family's tarnished reputation. A civil hearing related to the death of Mallory Beach, who tragically lost her life in the boating accident caused by Paul's drunken driving, loomed on the horizon. The Beach family's attorneys were poised to compel Alex Murdaugh to disclose his financial assets, including pensions and income. For Alex, the prospect of this financial transparency was catastrophic. It would have exposed the extent of his financial malfeasance, revealing that he had systematically robbed his clients blind. Faced with the impending downfall of his family's name and reputation, Alex Murdaugh saw murder as a desperate means to safeguard their standing in the community. In the eyes of the prosecution, the convergence of these factors, the financial crimes, the impending civil hearing, and the potential exposure of his misdeeds, created the perfect storm that led to the cold-blooded murders of his wife and son. It was a chilling testament to the lengths Alex Murdaugh was willing to go to preserve his family's privilege and maintain their grip on power in the South Carolina Low Country. The Alex Murdaugh case is a labyrinthine journey through a series of interconnected mysteries, some of which remain unresolved to this day. 2 additional deaths are intertwined with the Murdaugh family's tumultuous history. Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh's dedicated housekeeper of over 2 decades, met a tragic end in 2018 while working at the family's hunting estate. She was like a second mother to Paul and Buster Murdaugh, having cared for them throughout their upbringing. Her death occurred when she reportedly tripped and fell while climbing the steps to the hunting lodge. At her funeral, Alex Murdaugh made a shocking offer to her 2 sons, claiming that his dogs may have inadvertently caused her fall. He proposed to sue himself on their behalf to secure an insurance payout. The sons agreed to this arrangement, trusting Alex's intentions. However, unbeknownst to them, Alex followed through on the lawsuit, but pocketed the substantial insurance payout, amounting to more than $4 million, without informing Gloria Satterfield's sons. This revelation exposed yet another layer of deception and betrayal within the Murdaugh family. Another perplexing case linked to the Murdaughs is the death of Stephen Smith. Smith, an attractive young man who had attended high school with Buster Murdaugh, was found dead in 2015 in the middle of a desolate rural road. His skull bore evidence of severe injuries, suggesting a violent assault. Initially, investigators had dismissed the case as a hit-and-run accident, but the circumstances surrounding Smith's death raised suspicions, particularly after the arrest of Alex Murdaugh. The arrest prompted authorities to reopen the investigation into Stephen Smith's death, recognizing the possibility that it may have been a homicide. As of now, this investigation remains ongoing, adding to the web of litigation and unanswered questions surrounding the Murdaugh family. The Alex Murdaugh case stands as a testament to the complexities of privilege, entitlement, and the abuse of power. It is a harrowing saga that exposed the dark underbelly of a prominent family with deep roots in the South Carolina Low Country. Alex Murdaugh's conviction for the murders of his wife and son marked a significant milestone in the pursuit of justice.
Mr. Murdaugh, I sentence you to the State Department of Corrections on each of the murder indictments in the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh. I sentence you for the term of the rest of your natural life for the murder of Paul Murdaugh, whom you probably loved so much. I sentence you to prison for murdering him for the rest of your natural life. Those sentences will run consecutive. Under the statute involving possession of a weapon during a violent crime, there is no sentence where a life sentence is imposed on other indictments. That is the sentence of the court, and you are remanded to the State Department of Corrections. and officers may carry forth on the imposition.
However, it was just one chapter in a story riddled with deceit, corruption, and tragedy. The web of lies and criminal activities that unraveled in the wake of the murders exposed a family dynasty in decline. As the legal proceedings continue, with Alex Murdaugh facing numerous other charges, including money laundering, tax evasion, and embezzlement, the legacy of the Murdaugh family continues to crumble. The once imposing influence they held over their community has been shattered, replaced by a legacy tarnished by greed and criminality. The Alex Murdaugh case serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked privilege and the belief that one can act with impunity. It is a reminder that, ultimately, the pursuit of justice can prevail, even when faced with the most entrenched systems of power. The unraveling of the Murdaugh dynasty serves as a stark example that the pursuit of truth and accountability can transcend the influence of even the most influential families.